ladies and gentlemen, with a bad attitude, boy. We are back. We are back. We appreciate y'all.
My man.
Appreciate y'all for being here, man. You know, Bryan Broaddus, man. You know, I just see a proud twinkle in his eyes sometimes when I be talking, because he see a lot of me in himself. You know what I mean, boy? Bryan Broaddus is notorious out in these parts for just getting coaches fired out here, or just wanting them, you know, fire him. In his mind, if Bryan's last name was Jones, boy, he been fire a whole ton of these coaches. I've been following Bryan for a long time, Bryan.
Sure.
I feel like I'm 32 years old now. So my optimistic fan patience, boy, Bryan Broaddus, is it gone? I used to hang in there with Jason Garrett. I used to debate all the time. But Bryan Broaddus, what I at least felt was Jason Garrett may not have been good enough to do it, but I think he gave everything he had, though.
He did.
I think he took every path that he possibly could to be victorious. And I can't even say a bad thing about Jason Garrett, man. When I see Mike McCarthy, he may be plenty talented enough, Bryan Broaddus, but he leaves meat on the bone, sir. Before we get started this evening, Bryan, I just want to let everybody know that's watching. They may not know. I'm just a dude with a camera and a microphone. I don't know nothing, Bryan, bro. I'm just, you know what I mean? We just the Doing All Right podcast.
We're both just have a microphone and a camera, but also think we have a lot of experience. You're a young man. I'm about to be 61 on Thursday when we do a show. And so, yeah, I've seen a lot of this, and I think you're damn good at this. I really, really do. You know, I was on with our buddy Jeff Kavanaugh this morning. I think I ran into KT, all my old guys. And Aisha knew my new gal and all this stuff like that. But to me, I'm kind of in this mode now where I've seen enough, and I take a lot of pride, and I told you this because I take a lot of pride in our show. I take a lot of pride in when we tell our audience path to victory. This is how we see it. I've got experience in this. You're a young guy. You're learning a lot of things. You've seen a lot already for a young guy. We kind of hash these things out. What burns my ass up is when there is the path to victory, and somehow, some way, you hold that offense to 20 points.
Yeah.
And you have a chance to win a game against that offense. But their defense, as we told you in our breakdown, is not very good. Their defense, the Bengals defense, and I mean, interviewing Dave Lapham, who is a color analyst for the Bengals, he's talking about, man, this defense just not good enough. Troy Aikman, well, talk to the defensive coordinator, defense not good enough. To me, this is what bothers me, is when you and I talk about it, and then you could kind of see it happening, the running the football, attacking, and McCarthy, what bothers me, I hate it. I hate it when they just throw opportunity away. It's hard to win in this league. It really is. And when you have an opportunity, when you always talk about complimentary football, one side playing, defense played their ass off. I don't know if Mike Zimmer and that crew can play any better.
Let me cut you off real early, Bryan. Let me cut you off.
Go ahead.
You remember we had this conversation around week 2 or 3. I told everybody to write it down. It's going to be on the test. It's coming back. The biggest problem that we had, and this was when Dak was playing, the defense didn't buy you enough time to figure things out on offense. The defense didn't buy you enough time. By the time we got to the middle of the third quarter, we were blown out, and your offense was one-dimensional at that point.
Right.
You fast forward to last night, Bryan Broaddus, Rico Dowdle, who's averaging 7.2 yards a carry, 138 yards, something like that. You were never out of the game script to run the football. Never. That's the most egregious part. Zimmer and his boy, we keep giving credit to Mike Zimmer every single week we come on here. That Bengals offense, Bryan, is explosive. They could easily put 40, 50 points on you because they've done it to better defenses, mind you. They've done it this year. They put points on those teams. They kept you in this fight. And if you Mike McCarthy, Bryan, all you had to do was run the football because you had time to do it, and they never got you out the game script where you were forced to throw the ball to Cooper Rush except for the end of the game. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
No, and I think that you're absolutely right. I think that the things that everything that you talked about defensively, you couldn't have written it up any better for sure. Chase, Burrow, they're going to get theirs,
Sure.
and and they get them in bunches. But you kept them out of the end zone for the most part. You made them kick some field goals. You turned them over one time. You had some sacks. You got some pressure. You didn't let the run game. Now, I will say this. I'll tell you where I felt like I was really, really wrong, though, about this. Chase Brown, I didn't see Chase Brown catching all these passes, the running back. That right there was that was something that was a blind spot for me.
Sure.
That kid is a good receiver of the football to the point where they're putting him out there and throwing the ball and all kinds of third downs and throwing him corner routes and all that crap. And
you want to know
that
why?
was a blind spot for me.
You want to know why? Because we got Donovan Wilson running around with him. Go ahead. they got Donovan Wilson one-on-one with Chase a couple of times.
They did. And I thought Mike might have learned this lesson. But no, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed for the fans. And I'm disappointed for the players especially on defense,
sure,
that played their ass off in that game yesterday. And the offense, backup offensive lineman playing. Rico Dowdle the last 3 weeks has been one of the top rushers in the National Football League. It only took us to week 14 to get that going,
Yeah.
But that's the thing that bothers me is that I get it. Hey, losing good draft position. I know I woke up this morning. I looked at Tankathon.
We didn't move.
2 teams you lost to, Cincinnati and the Saints, are ahead of you in the draft order because of strength of schedule. Same record. Now, you got to hope that Joe Burrow and them, find a way to win a few more games. I don't think the Saints are winning another damn game, to be honest with you. I mean, they're playing strong for Rizzi, the coach. Yeah. But the quarterback broke his wrist, or hand or whatever. So they're back to where they were.
Yeah.
But it pains me to sit there and say, okay, 2 teams beat you, and now you're behind them in the draft order. And I'm like, okay, give me this. Why the strength of schedule? So,
right.
Listen, but I'm in the business of winning football games. That's me. I'm in that business. So last night was especially painful because I saw the path to victory, and the man who's responsible to get it home didn't do his job. That right there is troubling to me. And especially now when we're starting to talk about bringing him back. And I am all for Mike McCarthy coming back and being the head coach if, in fact, there's a different offensive coordinator and a different scheme on this football team. I am all for that. Yeah. I am not for Mike McCarthy continually to call the plays anymore. I've seen enough. And people say, well, what about Dak last year? No. I'm talking about today. Yeah. I am talking about today because this football team in the first couple of weeks when they had Dak Prescott playing football wasn't very good on offense either. So I'm starting to see a carryover. Yeah. I'm starting to see a carryover of things I don't like to see, and I've moved in my mind. I've moved on, and people say, "Well, Dan Broaddus, you have a problem with this guy?" Yeah, I do, but I'll also tell you this: Mike McCarthy and I share the same, shared the same agent. I haven't heard a word from my guy about anything that I'm saying right now. But you've got to. The responsibility of Mike McCarthy is when your team has a chance to win a game, you got to be a difference maker. Mm-hmm. Dallas doesn't have a difference maker at head coach. Yeah. There's teams around the league that have difference makers as head coach. You don't have one of them.
Sure.
And that's why you're going to Kansas City. You talk about all the games Kansas City wins, the 1-score games, close games, and all that. Quarterback, great. Defense, great. Defensive coordinator, great. No, head coach makes a difference for that football team. Just go around the league. Just go around the league and look at the difference makers. You don't have one, and that's a problem. And Dallas needs to find a difference maker at head coach.
And that's why I feel like regardless of who's calling plays or not, I'm just over Mike McCarthy, Brian. I don't think I don't think this team plays with a whole bunch of toughness. I don't see a whole bunch of grit from our guys. We do a lot of, and look, I'm not saying that they're soft, right? Because they're pro athletes. I wouldn't dare call a pro athlete
play
soft.
A hard game. Play a hard game.
They play hard, man. But I just love to just look at these other teams, man. Look at like those Lions when they were playing Green Bay last week, man. Like that's what a tough team.
That's a bloodbath. Like. That's a bloodbath game. Yeah.
Man, I think Brian. I think personally, we're a team that'll run into a little bit of adversity and falls, man. I think that will fold. I think that falls upon the culture that your head coach makes. I keep talking about Tomlin. Tomlin is one of these coaches I've been loving for years. He's a dude with Kenny Pickett that'll at least go to a damn playoff game and compete.
Doug Hodges.
Yeah.
I mean,
and look,
name all the guys they've played with.
And Russell Wilson ain't even incredible. Like his last couple seasons ain't incredible or nothing like that. And man, look what they doing with just somebody that can competently throw the football. And I think we got some guys, Brian. But Jeff, Jeff is my guy. We always talk about this. Jeff thinks that the team isn't talented enough. Man, I've seen some. Man, you talk. The team you just played yesterday, they got a third receiver named Yosheva that you never heard of in your life before. Yeah. And they'll find a way to do something with him, or Chase Brown can get going and do something like that. You ain't the most untalented team in the league. Right, but those guys will find a way to do things that we can't do. I'm just ready to just break this thing down from top to bottom, get new play callers in, get new culture up in here, Bryan Broaddus. The whole idea that it takes so long to figure out that Rico Dowdle should be the guy, or it takes so long. And look, even if it's not Mike McCarthy's call, let's just say it's Schottenheimer's call. Let's just say it's Schottenheimer's call. Mike McCarthy, the damn head coach. Hey man, you need to get Rico carries. You need to get Turpin targets, not from the outside running nines. You need to run. We need more crossing routes in general. All that's on you, the head coach, the CEO. That's all on you. So I'm just over Mike McCarthy, Brian.
See, I agree, and again, we don't know. Nobody's told me about the whole Ezekiel Elliott thing. Is that Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Will McClay?
Sure.
I'd love to. I'd love to be able somebody to walk up to me and say, hey, listen, the reason we were playing with Rico Dowdle is because Jerry Jones wants to do that. Mike McCarthy was adamant that we don't need to play with Ezekiel Elliott, and Jerry was assistant. Okay, Jerry's the general manager, fine. But at least I know where this is. At least I know, why did it take you to week 11 or 12 before you figured out how to use Rico Dowdle?
You know what, Brian? Maybe I'm built a certain type of way, and I think you're built from some of the same stuff that I'm built from. If Jerry Jones was to say, hey, I need to see carries from Ezekiel Elliott tonight, I'll go, cool. But when we get to the game, hey, Rico, go on in there and get your 18 carries. And then I'll just deal with it later. What, you going to fire me for winning the game and rushing for 130-something yards, 7 yards to carry Rico Dowdle? Shut up. That's how I feel. And maybe Mike McCarthy won't say that to Jerry Jones, but I'll risk it for the biscuit, because if Zeke is my starting running back, I'm getting fired anyway.
You're not paying for the lake house anymore because you're out of a job.
I'm getting fired anyway.
Let me ask you this. Does the Rico Dowdle thing, the way he's played the last several weeks, and potentially he could have played like this all year, does it make you feel differently about approaching running back in the draft?
I've been saying this to my audience, Brian. I would love to re-sign Rico to a very cheap type contract. Rico's not going to demand big money or anything like that. He's not going to hit the market and go crazy. Give Rico a 2-year, $3 million deal or something, and let him be a David Montgomery to your new Gibbs type.
I like what
situation.
you're doing here. I like what you're doing. Yeah.
So that way the young guy doesn't come in and get the whole load by himself.
Right.
And Rico and they'll work together in a tandem. It won't be a Zeke situation where, all right, Rico on the field, why Genti in here? You know what I'm saying? It won't be that kind of thing. Brian, it's just Rico. I gained a lot of respect for that dude.
I have too.
During this San Francisco debacle, Rico Dowdle sick. And we see videos of him smiling and da-da-da-da-da. Rico could have easily gone on some type of social media. He could have been Kelvin Joseph. He could have been Sam Williams. You remember Sam Williams doing all that tweeting? Rico Dowdle just shut his mouth And when he got his opportunity, he played and he averaged 7 yards a carry, Bryan. I respect that in a football player. As an ex-offensive lineman football player coach, I respect that. I want that dude to get rewarded somehow, and I want him to be a part of this better situation, not the nonsense that he's in right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I kind of feel like, to me, it's made me at least think about in a different way. The way that Rico Dowdle was able in really 5 days time between the Commanders and the Giants game, and the way he played, and then to put it, to kind of back that up and take it a notch further, against the Bengals, I think that says a lot about him, and I'm interested to see how it goes against Carolina in these last 4 weeks, because I feel like Tampa's playing for a spot. The Eagles are playing for their, for seeding. And then you're going to get the Commanders playing for seeding too. Rico Dowdle, he gave you a chance. I would have loved to have seen him kill the last 5:31 of that football game last night.
Sure.
I would have given anything to see him, the way he was going to run the football. I was like, okay, let's go. Load it up. Mike McCarthy always talks about, we want to run the football. We want to establish run. We want to be a running team. He after that 14-yard play, he tried to explain to the media today about being on the wrong hash, and they had the hide plays and stuff like that. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what hash you're on, sir. Call the play and hand the ball to 23. Yeah, that play sheet that you hold, that's got ringlets on it, that's it's 4 pages long. During the game, or you've got people upstairs charting the best plays, the best running plays, go back to those.
Yeah.
Go back to those running plays and run those like Joe Gibbs used to run counter Trey with the old Washington Redskins.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and run those plays where it's, or John McKay for USC back in the day, toss right, student body left, student body right. Find the best plays you ran that day and run them. And I'm talking about the running plays, and see if Cincinnati can keep you from getting into field goal range in the last 5 minutes of the game. He gave his team no chance. He gave his team absolutely no chance to do that. And he stands up there and he talks about it. He talks about playing with physicality. That could have been one of those moments where you stand at the podium and you say, I am so damn proud of 3 backup offensive linemen.
Yep.
I am so damn proud of Luke Schoonmaker as a point of attack blocker.
Mm-hmm.
I am so proud of Span Ford and Mingo, and guys that had to go out there and kill a football game.
Yep.
Hunter Lipke. I'm so proud of these guys today. Defense did a hell of a job. I had to reward them with a victory today. He can't say that. He can't say that. He got caught up having to answer questions about a damn block punt. Sure. And that's unfortunate. That you can't waste opportunities in the National Football League. I just feel like this guy wastes too many of them. I just do. I just feel like there's, especially this year, I feel like there's been those times where I'm like, this talks about the team not being ready and this, that, and that. Oh, best week of practice we've had, Friday, picking off the ball. What does it get you, sir?
Sure.
What does it get you? You can't move the ball in the last 5 minutes and 30 seconds against one of the worst teams in the defensive teams in the National Football League. You have no confidence in doing that? Huh. Then maybe you don't need to be my head coach, sir. Yeah. Maybe you don't need to be my guy. But hey, if Jerry wants to bring him back and they talk about a new primary play caller, I'll be on board, because I think there's some qualities that Mike McCarthy has to get the team ready, get the team to Sunday. I think he cares about the health of the kids. I think he cares about the morale of the guys and stuff. They play hard for him, but playing hard is getting beat though too. You had a chance. You had a chance and you didn't get it done. That's not good.
To your point about Rico, Bryan Broaddus, and it's interesting. I was just looking at some of his numbers here. He got 152 carries for 731 yards. Now, Bryan, I'm just like projecting or whatever. In a good offense, he might be 1,000-yard rusher by now. I'm just assuming. I'm just assuming.
How many days did he not have carries? I mean, go look at all the games.
So Detroit, he got 5. He got 8 for Baltimore, 7 in, New Orleans, and 8 in Cleveland. See, whenever he gets like 19, 22, 18, he got 20 up here in Pittsburgh. This is where Rico does most. Like, he needs to get going. He's a volume type runner, Brian.
He is a volume runner.
And if I had to pick out of the 1,000-yard type rusher or Cooper Rush to who I'm gonna put the game in the hands of, I'm gonna give the ball to the rusher, Bryan Broaddus, and I'm gonna kill that clock. Man, Joe Burrow may not have never seen that ball again.
That's what I'm saying. That's what kills me about some of these coaches. You have to know your team, and you have to know who's standing on the other sideline.
Sure.
Yeah. My guy down in Tampa, Todd Bowles.
Yes, sir.
Todd Bowles is in a game with Kansas City and has a chance to go for 2 to end it.
Right.
Kicks the extra point and he loses in overtime. Yeah. If Todd Bowles was standing up there at the podium and they'd lost that game, which he ended up doing anyway, if they stand up at that podium and they ask him, Todd, was there any consideration for going for just kicking the extra point? He immediately could say,
"It's Pat Mahomes over there."
It's Pat Mahomes. It's Andy Reid. It's it's a back-to-back Super Bowl winning team over there. That's one of the best. That's one of the best teams that we've played in the National Football League. You could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
I was trying to win the game right now. And if anybody questions you about that, then they don't know football. Right. But you have to, as a coach, you have to know the condition of your team as the game goes on. You have to know we're here in a chance. We've got to end this game now. We cannot play another snap of defense. We can't. We'll give up a 45-yard play to Chase. We can't play another snap because we've played as hard as we can play this whole game. He did not give them a chance. He did not reward his defense for the effort that they played with yesterday. That bothers me more than anything. Yeah, we talked the draft position, all that. He did not reward Mike Zimmer and that defense for how hard they played. He didn't reward. This game should have been about Rico Dowdle damn near rushing for 200 yards. That's what this game should have been about. Yeah. At the end of it, it's like, damn, I'm proud of those linemen. Damn, I'm proud of Rico Dowdle. Damn, I'm proud of this defense. It was none of that. It was none of that. And that's the problem. That is the problem. Because we'll stand up there and talk about penalties and these turnovers. And no, how about talking about winning?
Yeah.
How about talking about doing things that win you games, not analytics or metrics or GPS numbers? How about talking about things that win you football game? He always talks about being up. Marty Schottenheimer taught you this. Marty Schottenheimer would have taken that ball with 5:31 left, and he would have handed it to Christian Okoye or handed it to LaDainian Tomlinson until the other team quit. Yep. That's what he would have done. Because you know why? That's the way they were going to win the football game that day. Guy hadn't learned that. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. Get it. That was 15 years ago or whatever. 11, I don't know how many years ago. Yeah. Long time ago. But hey, today, that's doing me no good. It's doing me no good as a fan when I watch the game and you have a chance to put a team away with something. You're like, okay, here we go. We're about to show some real toughness in this football game. Yeah, he let his defense down, and he let Rico Dowdle down, and he let three backup offensive linemen down. He let the fan base down too, in my opinion. And it's not just one play of the block and all that. There were so many empty possessions in this game.
Yeah,
empty.
Throwing the ball, and
empty possession.
And Cooper Rush not even throwing it well, like throwing it over people, throwing it to the sideline, just missing high.
They're in that hide thing they call, and all of a sudden, what happens? He's got Jake Ferguson in the flat, and he just throws the ball 4 yards wide of him. Hey, come on. Cooper Rush is who Cooper Rush is. Hey, he's a he's a good backup. The more you have to play with Cooper Rush, you make Cooper Rush throw the ball over 30 times in a game, you're going to get what you get.
I'm
You're
not
gonna
even.
get. You're going to get.
I ain't even mad at Cooper Rush at this point.
I'm not mad at him
because
either.
he's
I'm
used
not
up
mad.
all the magic points in his body that he got to use. But
No
not
question.
only do you have Cooper Rush, you making him run down the. You making these wide receivers run down the field and turn around, and you're forcing Cooper Rush to throw that. I keep going back to this, Brian. I go back to Green Bay. Jordan Love got hurt real early.
Yeah,
And they called passes Malik Willis can throw.
absolutely.
What a good coach says, Matt LaFleur, he came
Matt
out and he
LaFleur.
says, hey, man, Jordan Love is out. We're going to change some things for Malik, and we're going to try to win a football game. They won too. Mike McCarthy says, Dak and Cooper Rush run the same damn playbook. That's what he says. He say Dak and Cooper Rush run the same playbook. If anything wasn't happening today, we're going to run the same. And he's not lying, Brian, bro. They ran down the field and turned around with Cooper Rush. So on top of Cooper Rush being physically below par,
Limited.
I hate this limited. I hate
yeah.
to say that about Cooper Rush. He's limited. Then your offense is nonsense. Man, Mike McCarthy should resign.
Yeah.
He should resign today. And Brian, I'm tank guy. You know me.
Oh no, you're tank guy.
I'm trying to get them picks. But
I know you're. Hey, at the end of the day, you're going to look at me across that table at the draft, and you're going to go, "Hey, you want to be picking here like 4 or 5 picks later? Or you want to be picking right now?"
Should have lost some more of these. But Brian, let me tell you what really turned me around on that. I'm sure you was watching the game in the Miller Lite Club, and I'm sure fans was running up on you. Micah
You got
Parsons,
me wired.
Micah Parsons' face at the end of the game said it all, bro.
Yeah.
That dude was tore up about this shit, and that made me hurt. That made me hurt because I'm sure he wasn't the only one that felt like that. He said, man, I've used every bit of energy in me to play some great defense today.
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle is going crazy right now. You mean to tell me we've lost this game off of a special teams blunder?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be calling a block, no way. A special teams blunder, and the only reason we punt the football because you can throw the ball consecutively.
Yeah.
I was hurt with him.
Yeah.
I forgot about draft for 30 seconds and directed my anger to the head coach. If Micah Parsons was advocating for Mike McCarthy, his ass ain't doing it tomorrow. I want to hear from Troy Aikman right now. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you with
good.
my thoughts there.
Fine.
I think the thing with Micah Parsons, he is the one guy that when the team won the first game against the Commanders, he says, hey, we're a damn good football team. Then they won against the Giants. Hey, if you want to jump off the bandwagon, jump off. He goes, we're a damn good football team. We're going to figure this out. He's the one guy that really put it out there, whether he believed it or not. Last night in the post game, when I heard his comments, I thought to myself, I'm like, that's a guy right there, not just talking about today's game.
Yeah.
He's talking about the whole season.
Sure.
He's talking about the frustration and the emotion of expectations and how hard it is to get ready for this season and this thing just to be 5-8.
Yeah.
I mean, I really felt bad for him in a way of he gets held, and here we talk about trading him and is he a good character? And there people in the organization that aren't happy with him. Is he a bad dude? There's all he gets all kinds of arrows thrown in his direction. But last night when I listened to him talk, I felt like this is the one time where he really tried to talk this into existence about them being a better team. And he was trying to will it and play like to make it a better team.
Yeah.
And when they lost it that way, the way they did, you could see it all, the whole season just come through him, and just, okay, we are who we are. And I think that emotionally got him yesterday. But like I said, I'm disappointed. I am disappointed for the fans, but I'm disappointed in those guys. I'm disappointed in the locker room. They got let down. Yeah. They got let down. And say Cincinnati ain't a great team, but you're trying to win games, man.
Sure.
You're trying to somehow, some way get this thing to 500. And then maybe maybe you beat the Buccaneers at home, or maybe you beat the Eagles. Maybe, you get something fluky to happen, and all of a sudden you're on a great run right now. But hell, I mean, the path to victory, I never seen anybody grab the wheel and jerk it to the right as far as he did just to take it off the path.
Sure.
He had that game won last night.
Yeah,
he did. This defense did exactly what they needed to do for him to win the game. And I don't care if Cooper Rush is playing quarterback, but how in the hell does CeeDee Lamb just sit there and light them up and get 2 more targets the rest of that game?
just go completely away from him. Yeah.
How does that happen? How does that happen? How do you not get him involved? And I know Cooper Rush is throwing the ball all over the place like he's in a YMCA football game and it's not accurate and all that. But my gosh, the one thing you had going last night when it came down to the nut cutting, you completely went away from it. And that part of it, as a fan, you should not forgive him for that. Because if you're invested in wanting to win, and your coach took one from you last night, one of the worst defenses in the National Football League, and he did something that he completely shouldn't have done in the last 5 minutes of that football game. And you know what? There were other empty possessions. The last two possessions before the end of the first half, when you were going to get the ball to start the second half.
Yep.
Some of the worst football you can imagine right there with that crew. Mm-mm. But hey, like you said, for the folks that want the draft position, quality. You saw a really good football game. Tough, they lost.
Yep.
For the fan base that really is like living and dying every win and loss, that was a punch in the gut right there for you.
So since today is Tuesday, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah, we usually have a guest. Next Tuesday we'll get back on the guest train, but these Monday night games, we got to stop these Monday night games so we get our guest list going.
Yeah. We got Carolina coming up next.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina good enough to embarrass you out there.
They are. It's funny, and I'm really looking forward to watching Carolina play because Chuba Hubbard is running the football pretty well, and
Exactly.
now we're back onto the and you got a young quarterback that's kind of found his way. And Carolina the last 3 weeks, they've been in some tight games that they had a chance to win. Kansas City, Philadelphia, they had some chances.
They let error and mistakes get in the way, but they're a team that's good enough to whoop you right now. So if Mike McCarthy might get fired if he lose next week, Bryan Broaddus. But that team good enough to do.
Carolina, it's funny. Carolina has not been a favorite in a football game since 2022.
Damn.
They are this week. 1.5. 2.5, I think. 2 points. Yeah.
I'd be damn. I got to look at my analytics on that. I had no clue. That's horrible.
Yeah, first time Carolina has been a favorite in a football game. And they had some wild ass spreads early this year. They had a 13.5. They've had some, but ever since they sat the quarterback down and figured out, well, Andy Dalton, he got a victory. And now, Bryce Young is playing better football, and Dallas's defense they better be ready. That gosh dang wide receiver that they got from the Vikings, sheesh. I mean, it's crazy that
So it's moved a little bit. Now it's -2.5.
There you go. People that are thinking about gosh darn Overshown not playing anymore. And how's Dallas? What's Dallas going to do? And Carolina will be a very trendy bet this week.
Sure.
They're losing games in a way that, like, well, damn, they scared people in Philadelphia, scared people in Kansas City, Tampa Bay. They've had some.
Let's see. 6 points lost to Philly, 3 points lost to Tampa Bay, 3 points to the Giants. They beat the Giants by 3, and they beat the Saints by 1.
That was in Berlin. Yeah, they recovered a fumble. Tracy fumbled in Berlin, and they kicked the game-winning field goal.
Yes, sir. So they're competitive in these games.
Yeah, this is not even if Dallas was like at the time was 10-4, whatever, and you would still be kind of nervous about this game because Carolina. Yeah. But you said it last year. I mean, you and I were talking about this early when we first started shows. Carolina ran the ball on you.
Miles Sanders sure did.
Miles Sanders ran the ball on you, and so I wouldn't, like I say, Cooper Rush, you go out there and continue to play with your food and don't do what you're supposed to do, and the head coach decides that he wants to take the car off the road and don't win a game. That could be tough, because you lose this one, you're not going. I don't think you're going to be favored in any of the games remaining this year. No, and the season could very well end on a 5-game losing streak if that's the case. You lose this one, then it's 2 in a row. Then Tampa, Philly, Commanders. You could be looking at five losses right there. Which, for the folks that are looking for draft position, you're totally okay with that.
Let me find some.
Yeah. Damn.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, this was a fantastic thrashing of Mike McCarthy, man. But he deserves it, man. He deserves everything he got.
I'm sure Mike is not very happy with any of us right now, but honestly, he should look at himself, and Jerry Jones and everybody should look at themselves for this one.
Yeah,
because you had a path and you wasted some really, really great efforts from your players, and you lost. Along the way, you lost one of your best soldiers.
Sure did.
One of your best soldiers is gone, and there's a likelihood that he won't play again until 2026. We'll see. He's a tough kid, though. Him and Britt Brown, they'll bust their ass like they did to get back. But man, when you tear the unhappy triad of all three of those things, that's tough. It's a tough one. But
I didn't know it was bad enough to keep him out for next year. So.
Yeah, it's something you need to keep an eye on. Something you need to keep an eye on.
That sucks, man. That sucks. But
yep,
we'll keep our ears on it. Brian got sources. That mean I got sources. So as soon as we find something out, we'll let you know.
Absolutely.
Yep. And hey, we'll be breaking down the Carolina Panthers offense tomorrow and see what they got going on. Yeah, because it's Wednesday already, Bryan Broaddus. Yeah,
it's Wednesday. I gotta. Did we talk about? Maybe you and I'll talk about some drafting dudes. You can do full Carolina tomorrow. You're going to have some college players you want to talk about once or twice.
I've completed my weekly work today, which is why the day after the game is so tough. So I have a lot of time to watch draft guys tomorrow.
There you go. Well, I've got to get Carolina done in the morning, but I promise you, I will be ready. I'll be ready. So you and I can talk about some names of some guys that you watched, and maybe we get to our deal on Friday, right? Friday's draft night.
Yes, sir.
Is that what we got?
Yes, sir. Friday.
I'll be here before you know it.
Yep.
So we'll be ready to go.
We will indeed get that done. And we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. And, me and Bryan do our homework, but y'all do it too, so y'all can follow along in class and all that. You know what I mean? Y'all follow me at VOCHLOMBARDI. I'm trying to get a little more active on socials. We try to get paid on Twitter now, Bryan. And then y'all follow him at Bryan Broaddus on his Twitters. Y'all be sure to give him some engagement so he can get paid from
so he
Twitter.
get real mad at everybody.
Yeah, get mad at him and he can get paid on Twitter also. Hey, but y'all have a good night, man. We love y'all to pieces. We'll catch y'all next time. Crown.